Hey guys, this is everything that we know so far about Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. A little disclaimer, this video will be spoiler free when it comes to the storyline. Of course, I'm gonna show you some items and some opponents that you might have never seen before, especially if you are like me and you have never played a Dragon Quest game ever. Some things that I will show you, you might be like, oh yeah, of course that is gonna be in the game, this is a Dragon Quest game, bro. But yeah, remember, I have never played any game out of the Dragon Quest franchise. So yeah, if you are already aware of all of these things, then excuse me. With all of that being said though, we can now look at the information. First, we have this little guy here riding a wolf. He will join our team. The lady in the background that is now hiding behind the shield, you will see her later in a much better light, will also join our team. And there's one more knight and kind of old guy that will also join our team. So our team will consist of these people. This little guy here that is riding a wolf, he seems to be specializing into AoE attacks, aka attacks that hit multiple different enemies at the same time. Here is already where things get a tiny little bit interesting. It gets much better though, right? Just wait a minute. She has here, Maribel seems to have a spell that not only heals her entire team a little bit, but revives a fallen member in the process. Here you can see the main character is dead, right? But she can revive him, and not only that, she also heals the other two teammates of her a little bit. So that's quite cool. But this screen here right now is where things get truly very interesting because of multiple different things. Look at the arrow, right? You can see that Maribel and yeah, the entire team in fact, they all have a buff on them. It is visualized by this green shield with yellow spikes there, you can see that. And what this does right now is that whenever Maribel would be attacked, or anyone would be attacked, then this shield buff would be consumed and Maribel would be completely immune to the attack and not take any damage at all. You can see her HP is 61, and after this shark attacked her, her HP is still 61. But the shield got consumed, which means she was completely immune to this attack. And now comes the interesting part, because every single character in this game can be equipped by what the game calls 2 jobs. Jobs are what represents the role of a character, and we can have 2 roles. So, for example, there are many different jobs, aka roles in this game. Let's say, for example's sake, you have the role martial artist and another role called monk, right? There are of course more roles like a healer, a buffer, a debuffer. And you can now not only equip 2 different jobs that can also, by the way, synergize with each other. For example, right, you combine 2 different jobs. You make, let's say, the main character, right? We make him a monk and a martial artist. Now he all of a sudden would specialize in like physical attack damage kind of things. But we can also give him the role monk and healer. Now we all of a sudden would have a monk that is a healer instead of focusing on physical attacks with the martial artists, right? And yeah, there seems to be countless of different ways to get the synergies rolling and make a character unique and specialize in different ways. You can either have one character have 2 separate roles at once, or you can make 2 roles synergize to combine into a completely new role. For example, right, if you would combine monk and healer, you would obtain a priest out of that, right? These kind of things. And it doesn't stop here. because not only does like the characters change, right, based on what roles, aka jobs, you give them, but their abilities, they also change, right? Of course, like a monk has their own abilities, a healer has their own abilities, but every character has abilities that are neutral. No matter what job you will assign to the character, he will maintain some of its abilities. And these neutral abilities, they change based on the combination of job that you give to the character. Let's take this buff here that I just talked about as an example. Here in this very example, you know, right? Everyone with this buff on it, when they would be attacked, they would be immune to one attack. That's it. But now, depending on what jobs you give to your character, this effect would change to, for example, the duration can be in or decreased, right? This buff here would last, let's say, for a turn, maybe 2. But yeah, depending on the jobs, this duration would like increase to 4 or 5 rounds. Or the effect would completely change. Maribel would then not be immune to one attack, right? Completely immune. But instead, she would be taking 50% damage less instead of being immune, but for 2 attacks in a row, instead of just being immune to 1 attack, right? You get the point. And at least that is what it like highly suggests here and what it seems like to me. And yeah, that is something that I'm very interested in and highly looking forward to. I hope what I just said turns out to be actually the case. Okay, now we have talked about the jobs, right? Every single character in this game, as you can see with the whip and the shield and the sword, right? They have different kinds of equipment. And here's where things get, also very, very interesting stuff here. Because look, depending on what job you have, let's say, right? For example's sake, I equip a job to my character that would give me a 10% multiplier on my attack. But I also equip an item to him that also gives me a 10% multiplier on my attack as well. And now here, when you look at this picture a little bit closer, you will see it tells you that these multipliers, they would not stack up. If I have a job that gives me a 10% multiplier and an item, I would still, my multiplier would not increase to 20% as it should, right? It stays at 10%. That is like, I would guess, a balancing purpose or something, so that stuff doesn't get out of control. But other stuff, like for example, my attack stat, like raw attack stat, right? Like strength or something like that, or mana, that would stack. At least I would assume. But some things don't stack. So yeah, you have to be knowledgeable about what kind of equipment you use based on what jobs you equip. That is of course self-explanatory, right? Of course, if you go for a healer role, you would equip different items than you would go for like a physical attacker, right? That is needless to explain. But yeah, here's where you have to pay a lot of attention to what does stack and what doesn't. So I hope that leads to a little bit of strategizing when it comes to job and equipment combinations. Alright, then next up we have some outfits for the different characters. More onto that in, a little bit more onto that in just a second as well. Here we can see a different outfit for the main character. Here is a different outfit for Maribel. And there's one more outfit for Maribel. It is this one right here. Then you can see this lady that was earlier hiding behind the sword, right? That is her, also with a different outfit. Here you can see all characters with their respective outfits. And another teammate. Remember the old guy that I presented as a knight earlier that I talked to you about? This is a different outfit for him right here. His normal outfit would look like this in the picture, and here you can see him running around with the crew in his signature outfit. Now if you look at your screen, you just got a little bit of a sneak peek onto it, but we will have DLC in this game. Now I have a little bit of a question here, because I'm not sure if these DLCs are exclusive to Japan. They shouldn't be, because of things here that I will mention in just a second. But here, this is a DLC that you can buy if this is available on global, but it is very, very likely that it actually is. So you obtain some items here, like this silver blob or the golem, right? There's a sword, a boomerang and a staff. So these items are not very effective. You should not buy this pack if you have already played through the through the demo, excuse me. But for people who haven't played through the demo and want a little bit of a smoother and easier start, this pack is actually quite helpful and nice. So yeah, the silver blob and the golem, what they do is they increase your experience gain and your gold income. That is nothing that you need, because the game already has options in which you can increase the experience gained and your gold income anyways by more than you would ever need anyways. So these items, they will be replaced. Same goes for the sword, the boomerang and the staff. They will be replaced very quickly, at least if you have already played the demo. To put this a little bit into perspective, the highest attack that you can obtain via an item is a hammer in this game that would give you 15 attack. The sword here gives you plus 18 attack, so you would go plus 3 even if you have played through the demo, right? But still, I would not recommend you to buy this, because you will replace these items anyways after like 10, 15, 20 minutes playing the actual game after its release. So yeah, refrain from buying it unless you want a smoother start and you haven't played through the demo. The other items here are consumables that you will find enough of those in game anyways, so don't worry about them too much either. Okay, then we have a pre-order called the Digital Deluxe Edition. This one gives you this outfit for the main character and 3 seats that would increase your stats a little bit. Those are not a big deal. You will find more than enough of those seats in game anyways. So if you go for the Digital Deluxe Edition, you do it for the outfits. For this outfit, by the way, this is a shield here with this silver blob again. Not too much of a big deal, not too much of an upgrade, and it will be replaced quite soon anyways. And you get this outfit for Maribel. So you would buy this for the 2 outfits, plus you gain 2 days advanced access. So instead of being able to play the game at February 5th, you would be able to play the game from February 3rd. Alright, this game costs you $60. If you buy the Digital Deluxe Edition, you will have to pay $75. Okay, now there is more DLC here. But remember, I don't know if this is actually exclusive to Japan or not, because right now if I go to Steam, if I look for this DLC, it is not, I cannot buy it right now. But maybe that changes after the game actually released. Who knows? We will see. Keep that in mind. Now you can see that you can buy either all the DLCs in one package, right? Or you can just buy all of the outfits that I presented to you earlier. You can see them here on your screen as well. All the outfits in one pack. And why I would highly believe that this DLC will be available for us on global as well is because of the DLC that you see on the very left hand side of your screen right here. And this is a DLC that will let us defeat the final bosses from the video games Dragon Quest 1, 2 and 3 respectively. So I cannot believe that content like this would be exclusive to Japan and global is just fucked and cannot get their hands onto it by any means, right? That would really surprise me. So that is why I think all of these DLCs here will also be available on global, but right now I cannot find them anywhere. And yeah, we have this little wolf guy right here, have a little bit of a different outfit as well. So that's it. Now they just recently, a few days ago, released a short about this game, and I want to show you something from this short as well real quick. So here we have it, and this is pretty cool because we will get, I guess, mounts in this game. Here you can see us flying around on a carpet, and it looks very smooth and is really fast. So that's something I totally look forward to. It will be a lot of fun traveling with this carpet equipped. And they have recently released a brand new, very short trailer again. There's one thing in particular here that stands out, but let's actually watch this together and talk about it a little bit. Here, right? You saw it. We can see some enemies here, like this guy or these robot kind of guys here. We have this cat with a green cat with blue clothing. We have these leaf warriors here, and this picture, this screen is the most important part about the entire thing, because here they tell you that a lot of abilities have been reworked. So even if you are very familiar with the Dragon Quest 7 game from back in the day, you will still enjoy this version a lot, because a lot of different abilities will be present here, and a lot of abilities have been reworked. So that's about that. There was also a very funny part here. Here you can see, right, a blue cat with red dress. You can see these knights in the back. They use green blobs as like jumping blobs, or however you know this kind of thing that we played with as kids. I think everyone knows what I want to say right now. Then here, this guy has all of a sudden a white wolf. Very interesting. Wondering what's that about. Will we get different like pets for this guy that he runs around with? Different kind of wolves? I'm very interested. Yeah, here you saw how beautiful she is. And oh, wait a minute, there were blobs in King version. Wait a minute. Here. I wanted to show them to you because I think they look hilarious. But anyways, that's it for the video, guys. I hope that was fun and informative. If you would like to see more, or like to see me fully covering this game in all of its aspects, I'm giga hyped for this game. I will do a playthrough, of course, that I will upload, and I will make guides for this game of all kinds. I will cover the whole thing. So yeah, please look forward to it. Let's enjoy this game together. And if you're interested to see more from me concerning Dragon Quest 7 content, then please leave a follow on this channel. I would really appreciate it. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day, peace.